Mac, is this a good time? Let's talk. Baseball, man. Okay, so I just found out we've scheduled a great conversation with Mac and I about baseball. How terrific is this? I mean, our whole team here at CAP loves sports, but it's summertime. We get to talk the American pastime, the national pastime. It's going to be brilliant. I'm looking forward to it.
Peter keeps wanting to talk about baseball. He doesn't get it. My thing is soccer. This is not even my office. Peter, thank you so much. I'm like, yeah, this is exciting. This is a new thing that we're starting. I'm like, and it was so fun recording the intro and the outro for this. I'm like, this is something new that we're trying. But in all seriousness, I'm like, it gives us an opportunity to talk about the 5 minutes for families, or as we call it in Spanish, 5 minutos. And we deal with something that is very important. And it involves baseball, right?
Right.
And you in the article, you talk about your experience, your love of baseball, and it mentions there a story, and I wanted to ask you, is that a real story that actually happened? Is that how you begin to love the sport?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it sure is. My experience is that baseball was part of family life. I think a lot of families are like that, where you've got little league, you've got your chance to connect with your dad about baseball, throwing the ball back and forth. And the first time I remember really having conversations with my dad about baseball was 1986, the World Series. He went to school in Boston, and so he was rooting for the Red Sox. And I was rooting for just the other team to make it interesting. It was the New York Mets. And it was just a really exciting, fun World Series. And I was just hooked on baseball at that point. And I had the rest of my childhood to just really enjoy the nation's pastime.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever play?
I played a little bit. Now, baseball is a difficult sport. I never really quite took to it like I enjoyed basketball, and I enjoy pickleball now. But for me, I was that guy that maybe 8th or 9th in the batting lineup for sure. Just not my cup of tea necessarily. Mm-hmm. But I still enjoyed playing, and I definitely enjoyed having a toss with my dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here. I mean, like, my dad is the baseball guy. I mean, like, and he always, try to get my brother and I into baseball. I mean, like, it just never took. I mean, like, I love other sports. I mean, like, I love soccer, pickleball now, you name it, but I just couldn't get into baseball. But in the article, in the FMF, in 5 Minutes for Families last week, we talked about a specific event that is happening this month, right? June 27th, and it involves the Arizona Diamondbacks. I mean, like, that's why we focus so much on baseball. I mean, like, but talk to us about that.
Sure. Yes. So, like most families, my wife and I are setting out our summer plans and how we're going to spend time with our kids and the kinds of things we're going to do. And it's summer, it's baseball season. One of the things that we were looking at doing is going to Chase Field, where the Diamondbacks play, and enjoying a game there. And when I went to the team website to figure out what game I was going to buy tickets for, I saw this Pride event. And it really got my attention. I started to look at the website more deeply, look at some of the groups that the Diamondbacks have chosen to connect with and sponsor the Pride event and then promote on their website. And it struck me that this is not something that is for families, that we're going to take something that is a very child-focused public event, like a baseball game, a Major League Baseball game, lots and lots of kids in attendance, and then push a very ideological message through having a Pride night that night on June 27th is the night. So I decided that I would write to the Diamondbacks and let them know that my family wasn't going to be coming to Pride Night, and also just give everyone a chance that subscribes to the Center for Arizona Policy mailing list to do the same thing.
Wow. And this is something that is very real. I mean, we talk about it in the 5 Minutes for Families for last week and 5 Minutos, and we focus on just this event with the Diamondbacks. But this is something that is permeating all of culture, unfortunately. And I gotta be honest, I'm like, I think I haven't seen it as other years. I'm like, I think past years, it was very prevalent, especially with the Olympics, the World Cup. I'm like, I was very disappointed too. I'm like, when I saw it, that ideology that we talk about in the article, um, permeating all those sporting events, all those pastimes. I'm like, that are very dear and to our hearts. I'm like in part of our culture, part of our family life, and um, uh, in the FMF, you laid out some of the steps that you took, right? You wrote to the Diamondbacks. I'm like, and those are steps that we can actually follow, right? That we can actually take part in doing.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a great idea for families that are going to skip Pride Night to not just not go to that evening, but also just to reach out to the Diamondbacks and let them know how they feel. I mean, that clearly there's been somebody reaching out to the Diamondbacks. That's why there is such a thing as a Pride Night. They're hearing a lot from a lot of the different agendas on this point, so they need to hear from families as well and understand exactly where they stand. And when you take sports in general, Mac, I think you've seen it across the United States, even across the world, this tendency to try and use sport and have it push the pride agenda to do things like change uniforms, have themed nights, require. I know you're a big soccer fan. In England, I've seen that the captain's armband all of a sudden becomes rainbow colored, and the captain of the team is expected and required to wear that. These are things that are about taking a very specific symbol with a strong political, ideological message about sexuality, and then expecting everyone to embrace that symbol. And that's the concern, is that it's taking something that is a gathering point, a place of consensus in society, families being able to join together to enjoy sport, and then pushing a specific agenda that way.
You're very true. Well, I think with that, we can close by saying, there's all the information, of the details on what's happening on June 27th are laid out on our the news article, 5 Minutes for Families. People can find it if they go to our website, azpolicy.org. Thank you so much, Peter. This has been very delightful, and I hope that we can do it again.
Thanks, Mac. Good talking with you. Let's do it again.
I enjoyed that. We got to do that again. That was a fun conversation. Thanks for talking baseball with me.
Yeah, no, this was great. And I think now that we started talking about sports, I'm like, now we can talk about soccer. The Champions League just finished. I mean, like, that final was amazing. We can talk about different coaches, Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, and what they're doing. It just opens up the door to talk about football. That's where the conversation really needs to go.
For sure. Yeah, we'll have to schedule that. That sounds pretty good.